I'm going to say it. IMO. Let's get that out of the way. I am a 90s kid, and if you're also from the 90s, you're most probably going to relate with today's topic. I know from my analytics that my viewers are in between the ages of 21 to 34 years old, so I know some of my audience are millennials just like me. I grew up in a different environment than you, so probably some things will be different from you, so just bear with me. I grew up in Mexico, and here things have always been different from our neighbors in the US. As long as I can remember, my family has always been in between this combination of being strict and flexible. My dad and mother taught me values and how to behave in society from a young age. Like any couple of parents, teachers, or mentors would, their education was more severe and strict than we had. And for the new generations, it would make it seem like something that you should be calling your local fire department. Um, Times change. I'm aware of that. I'm not hoping for everything to stay the same, but sometimes I wish that some things will stay the same or at least rescue something that worked years ago to keep some level of decency as a group of individuals. I remember that one of the worst offenses I could do as a kid was showing my tongue to an adult or answer back when I was being grounded. Saying bad words out on the street could get you into trouble because almost every adult knew your parents, so they will tell them or even go to your house in the act and tell them right there at the moment that his son was saying terrible words out on the street. And after that, you guessed it, your mother would scream out your full name and tell you to get back home. And after that, you most probably will get slapped in your beautiful little mouth for saying such things. And after that, be sent with the judge of your father that most probably again will get your ass cheeks spanked by that big shiny belt. Am I right? And after all that, your sentence will be named. Be it no video games, no going out with your friends, no TV, double hours of study, or something creative that parents always came out with. After all that, now ask me if I ever spoke out loud bad words out on the street as a kid. Of course not. No, not at least not allowed anymore, and especially near adults. The only time I got to say out bad words again was when I was in my teens with my friends out in the street while we hang out, and we were always behave in front of adults. Not only that, I was taught to salute people on the street, like as a way of showing good education and good manners. Say hello, good morning, good afternoon, or even good night. Now I can't say something like that without getting the looks like I was some sort of weirdo. Um, when I get into a bus stop, I went in line just like any other, and most of the time people just don't care and jump straight up in the front of the line just to get a seat. Inside transport, no one stands up for a woman anymore. A pregnant woman, sorry. Someone carrying their child or older people. I don't get when things start to go wrong. We have been moving backwards instead of moving forwards as a society. And what's even worse, you when you confront this type of people, they even get mad at you for correcting them. They just don't have any common sense now. The other day, on my way back home, I decided to stop by my local 7-Eleven for a drink. And when I got to the corner of the street, I stopped like I usually and you should do. There's no stopping lights, but there's a stop sign on each corner. I look at both sides of the street and I saw a car not too far away from where I was. And there's the sign that says yield pass to pedestrians. So with confidence, I walk, but always with precaution and always keeping an eye on the vehicle. And this car was not lowering his speed, so I started to walk faster, and by the time this car got to me, it passed me so close, and that the guy stopped in the middle of the intersection and stopped screaming crap at me when I was using my pedestrian privileges to cross the street. I didn't say anything, though I really wanted to answer back. The only thing I did was to point at the stop sign at the corner of the street, and the guy just looked at them and say nothing. But you could tell he noticed he screwed over because he immediately stopped saying anything and keep on going with his day. The other thing I don't get when it comes to traffic, I don't understand when you're waiting on the corner of the street just to get to the other side, and a vehicle comes, and the driver prompts you to cross the street. So you start crossing the street, and the driver keeps on going at a very low speed. I don't get why you do this and stopping fully, and just let me cross the street peacefully. It confuses me and makes me stop in the middle of the crosswalk because I can tell at times if you're giving me the go for real or you just want to run me over. I don't get it. Um, other thing I don't like is that nowadays I see children. I believe they are under 8 to 9 years old, perhaps, just talking profanities out loud on the street like it was nothing or the most normal thing in the world. And in the neighborhood where I live, I see where these kids come from, and I take a look at their parents, man. And there are those parents that they don't take care of their kids, man. The kids are screaming and throwing out a tantrum, and these parents are just ignoring their kids and staring at their phones all day. So now I see why these kids are so messed up. They are no longer being corrected, but instead of that, they're being rewarded with tablets and phones to keep them distracted instead of being corrected and taught how to behave. Fortunately, I still from time to time encounter good people out there and that still preserve a level of education, or to what I take as good manners, uh, from things that I've been taught by my parents, and it still makes me feel like there's still hope. But unfortunately, those people are pretty scarce now. There's not many people left that still do the correct thing. I don't know what it is. I have my own speculations, but I've seen to notice this radical change on how society started to change their behavior after 2013. So sure, it felt like to some extent the world really ended in 2012, and something more sinister replaced it in 2013. Because at that point I started to notice that change on people. They are very rude, they lack manners, basic etiquette, sorry, self-care. Their faces stuck 24/7 on their phone. And this last one is more obvious because I met a friend back in 2011 that got addicted to his phone, and this person was always glued to his phone. He had this, what I like to call this superpower, to be able to be walking on the street without bumping into somewhere or something. And every day his head was down. Like, you have probably seen them out on the street, or perhaps you also have someone that walks like that. So for me, that friend had his neck normal, but after some years of him adapting that posture, he got a hunch and their back, and now their neck is bent down 24/7, like he had some rare condition or something. But it's because he never adopted a good posture. As far as I know, that is reversible, but it will require a lot of therapy to get him back to shape where he was. But I never talked about the subject, or even I believe he hasn't noticed yet until this day, so I prefer just to let people be. But yeah, that's how crazy things have become. I'm not a person who sticks to their phone that much. I do, but I do it with moderation because I have other things to do. Sometimes I get stuck on YouTube or Crunchyroll. I like to entertain myself. I love social media like anyone else, but I try to put a limit on my screen time and focus um, on doing something more productive. I'm not going to lie, but sometimes I really tempted, um, for me to not do anything and just be on my phone all day, and sometimes I do. But I prefer to just put Spotify on my speaker and just raise the volume at the level I can hear it around the house. Not for my neighbors, but for me. I take some time to read, and now that I'm doing YouTube, I take time to watch and do research on video editing tips. And from time to time, video of memes will pop up on my feed, tempting me to watch it. Sometimes I do, but most of the time I'll just save it to watch it later at evening when I have already done everything I needed to do. Now, speaking on the topic of music, I love music. I like to listen to music, and I do recommendations on social media. There's types of music that I don't like in some genres. Obviously, I try to avoid them, but other thing that pisses me off is are those people or neighbors who are blasting music all day, or have their TVs to full volume. And what's up with that? Is there something I'm missing on? Does the loud music make you like a bigger man or something? Do you need attention or something? A hug maybe? Just let me know instead of making everyone around you go deaf. Do you know that most people don't care about your musical taste nor the types of shows that you watch? Did you know that most people are just trying to rest after a long day's work? Or perhaps there's a couple of elderly people that are trying to rest and take care of their own health, which involves taking a nap in the middle of the day. I'm not sure what is happening to the people around the world right now, but sometimes I believe that some punishments should have stayed in society, like the ones I mentioned before. But that's my opinion. Sometimes I believe some physical punishment will make people understand that what they're doing is wrong. But hey, it's just me. Please let me know your opinions in the comment section down below. I know that it may sound radical or extremist, but I believe sometimes talking is not the way to deterring someone. You need more proof? Look through your window, or take a walk outside and open your eyes and see the world for what it really is. My name is Jaco, and I'm here to tell you to be more polite and practice your social skills so we can all have a better time. We all have a long time to share on this planet we call home, so let's at least try to make it a suitable place for everyone to live. Be polite, be kind, and if you have children, just take good care of them so they don't end up becoming weights to society, okay? Take care, and I hope to see you on the next video. Bye bye. Now it's time to go for some sliced apples with cheese. Yeah, baby.